Welcome back into our conversation about hope. And here's one thing that can give you hope. Today, we are going to unveil for you one of the single most influential things that's in your heart. This is Father Mark, and as we are in our podcast conversation this week about choosing to live with hope, one of the single most influential things I think that's out there is a belief that you and I are alone. Now, that may not be something that resonates with you immediately, so we're going to kind of get into the nuances of what that looks like in our life. However, for some of us, just lifting up that statement, a fear that we are alone, does not only resonate, but bring with it lots of different emotions that are there. If we are going to be a people of hope, it's got to be because of a reality that's independent of our emotions or even our perception of circumstances. In other words, we can't derive our hope from an optimism, and we really can't derive a hope simply wanting the circumstances of life to change. We can derive hope knowing that regardless of the circumstances of life, we're not alone in the process. We're not alone in the suffering. God is not dead. And that might sound like a very simple statement, but if we took time to unpack that, and if we took time to let that light shine on the echoes of our heart that believe that maybe he's not really active and alive, then that could actually be something that could change our life. But for much of my life, I've had to confront a disbelief that God is alive and as active today as he was in the scriptures. I read some of the stories in the Bible, and I wish I saw the faith of Christians as alive today as it was in the early church. I look at the miracles that Jesus performed, and I don't see those types of miracles today. And so I find myself listening to my own thoughts and the words and comments of other people. And sometimes we can talk about Jesus as if he were more of a historical person rather than someone who is alive and active today. Here's the truth. God is real. And if the resurrection is real, which is kind of like what we talked about yesterday, then that means that he's alive today and he's active in the world today just as much today as he was when he was not only walking on the earth, but also in those miraculous stories of signs and wonders that we saw in the early church. And if God is active and alive today, if God is not dead, then that means in the particular circumstances of your life where doors seem to be closed and you can't find a way out, where suffering exists and you don't know why it exists and you're angry that it exists, in the places in your own sinfulness or your own patterns or your own addictions where you feel trapped, you're never going to get out. In all of those places, it means that God is alive there, reaching out to us, asking us if he can be a part of our lives even there. And that gives me hope because I'm not alone there. And when we try to manage life, or when we try to manage suffering, or when we try to manage our addictions, our sinfulness, or when we try to cope with life, perceiving that we are alone and it's all on us, then life can feel heavy. But imagine if there was a breakthrough in your life where you came face to face with the reality and the experience of God being with you there. Well, that would give you hope, right? That would give you hope that you're not alone, that there is someone who can help you get through where you are. If we are going to be a people who choose to live with hope, then we need to choose to believe that God is active in our lives. And even if we don't immediately sense him there, we make intentional choices to live prayerfully, as we talked about last week, so that we can discover God in the nuances of our life. Now that takes patience, and we're going to talk a lot about that tomorrow. But for today, the reminder to us all is that God is not dead. God is active and he is alive. For your homework tonight, I want us to pray with a very familiar piece of scripture, but I want us to pray with it as if it was the first time we'd ever heard it, read it, or even seen it. And that is Psalm 23. It is the most popular scripture passage in the world, and I think it's there for a reason. And perhaps it can give us hope today if we really take it seriously and if we really lean into it. Psalm 23, reminding us that God is not dead. Psalm 23, reminding us that we can be a people of hope. As we say, coming back tomorrow where we talk about being patient and its importance in us being a people of hope. But until that conversation happens, enjoy the scripture passage, enjoy Psalm 23. Let's be a people of hope, and God bless you.